Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MyFootballWriter podcast. Well, we've had a week off. A new football tournament has begun in the Euros, but we're still going to try and stay on board with all Norwich City related content. I'm Freddie Humphrey Wakefield, and I am joined, much like last time, and as I will be throughout the future, by Will, also known as Norwich Youth on Twitter, Jack, also known as NCFC Payne on Twitter, and Henry Miller as well, aka the man behind the scrimmage and Yellow Friday. So, boy, we'll just start off just a general catch up. How have you all been the last week? Of course, there's been some new stuff all going on in football. The transfer window's also open, so Jose Cordoba is now officially a Norwich City player, and I'm sure he'll be registered on the books very soon. But how have you all been in that last week? What's been going on in all of your lives, really?
Well, I can't really say I've had the most enjoyable week. It's just been kind of a bog standard kind of off season kind of week, really. But gosh, my life is so less stressed without Norwich at the minute. So I'm all good and relaxed, which makes a good change. So excited for the fixtures to kind of be released, I think, in about 10 days, I think it is now, or towards that. So excited for that for sure. But how about all you guys?
Been all right. I'm very tired, but yeah, been all right. Feel like working and grafting my arse off recently. So yeah, tired, but at least I can relax now over this weekend and enjoy some good football at the Euros.
Yeah, I've got far less content to post on my Twitter. It's quite sad. I'm, scraping the barrel a bit, but no, I mean, Cordoba announced the signing. He's my favorite person from Panama.
Correct.
Yeah, and tops the list of all the other people from Panama. Me personally, I've been a massive fan of Levski Sofia for my entire life. Yeah, but I mean, like the Panama Canal, it's like, top three canals. It goes Panama, Suez, and then Regents, in that order. Been a huge supporter of the Panama national team as well. When they went to the World Cup in 2018, and Harry Kane scored a hat-trick against them. See, I do know about Panama.
What I would say as well is that if you're from Panama, you're Panamanian. That doesn't sound right, but he sounds absolutely mental just saying, yeah, I'm Panamanian. Sounds like fucking Tasmanian devil.
Oh, dearie me. Well, there you have it. The Panamanian devil. That could be his nickname for all we know if he's a bit of an aggressive boy at the back. But yeah, so Jose Cordoba is here. The Euros have begun. And of course, there were some Norwich City players playing last night for Scotland in what was a rough old game for them. Germany beat them 5-1, and Ryan Porteous, who plays for Watford, was sent off for a very rash challenge. I think that's a way of putting it lightly, really. But as well, just really looking at the Norwich players that played, of course, Angus Gunn, I think the first goal, really, he could have done better on. Of course, I'm not a professional goalkeeper. I'm not going to sit here and act like an expert. But as well, Kenny McLean and Grant Hanley, who came on, of course, they didn't have many minutes in the game. You have 10 men, you're probably going to sit a lot deeper than what you would like. But they didn't really look on the pace as much, and of course they haven't played like a proper game in a couple of weeks. Of course, the last game that they did play is less said the better, really. But definitely they looked that little bit off the pace. But was that for you three? Was that a bit of a freak of nature of a game where Germany just maybe were far too good and the quality of individuals shone through, or were Scotland just really that bad?
I think probably a bit of both. Obviously, we spoke before we actually came on air, and we said that Musiala and Wirtz were absolutely tremendous during the game. I thought in particular, in regards to Angus Gunn, I kind of watched the game back this morning, and I think the fifth goal probably is the one where I'm more skeptical about what he done there. But I'm not gonna try and go too deep into it, because because if you reverse it as well, you always kind of think in major tournaments. I remember like Renato Sanchez playing absolutely superbly in one of the Euros. So if you kind of reverse it around again, I don't think it means too much. New systems, it's like new everything, really, in my opinion. So I'm not going to get too kind of bogged down by it. But hopefully they come back fit and fine for Norwich, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think as well the Germany game for Scotland is really the one that you were looking at them probably always going to lose. You know, you look at the other teams in that group. Hungary are currently 2-0 down to Switzerland and have looked really off it. So games like that could be massive for Scotland if they can get over the line. And realistically, with the format of the tournament, they probably only need a win and a draw maybe to squeeze through. So there's definitely still hope there for Scotland. But I agree with what Will said. Germany were good, but they were woeful as well. So they do need to improve, but they've definitely still got a chance against those weaker sides.
It is quite funny seeing Scotland. I mean, I'm English. It is what it is. It's always going to be funny. I always remember going on holiday to Morocco when England were in the 2018 World Cup and we were playing Tunisia in the opening game. And I thought that all the, Moroccans would be on our side, because, their neighbours are playing. And then I forgot, no, all of Africa supports each other during the World Cups and they were supporting Tunisia. And I just thought, well, this is just not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to despise your rivals. You're supposed to wish for their downfall at every point. That's the good British way. But yeah, I mean, I posted this on Twitter to say that Gunny has technically conceded 9 goals in the last 2 competitive matches. Ignore the friendly where he kept a clean sheet. I'm going to ignore that for, tactical reasons. I think someone said that he kept a clean sheet against Finland. Right. I don't follow Scotland's friendlies that much.
I think that was 2-2. I'm not too sure.
It ended 2-2, and I'm pretty. I don't know if it was that game. I think. Oh no! I think I'm thinking of a different game.
Yeah,
I know Pukki scored a brace for Finland, but I don't know if it was the Scotland game. So I'm guessing Gunn must have been subbed off before they scored twice.
Yeah, that's half a friendly. That doesn't count. But yeah, I really liked the documentary the club put out, Son of a Gun. That was really, it was nice and motivating and made me think, Gunny's going to be the next Gordon Banks, although he's English, Scottish. But yeah, does it make me worry that he's not a Premier League ready goalkeeper? I don't know. It is just Germany. They are just very, very good, and they are the hosts, and they're probably going to do quite well. Probably get to the semis, probably get to the final. And Scotland are probably going to finish bottom.
No, it is very true. Germany is, as we've already discussed. Will, you were talking there about the likes of Jamal Musiala and Wirtz as well. They were just absolutely phenomenal during the game. I thought Musiala, especially with how technical he is on the ball, that close control dribbling I was watching at times. He looks an incredible player. But yeah, it's a shame we don't really have anyone like that ourselves to be getting excited about in terms of technical ability. Maybe over the next coming few weeks, of course. Well, the only real player I can think of with that sort of flair would be Gabriel Sara, but he may not even be a Norwich City player in a few weeks. But there's still nothing that's come up in terms of transfer interest. I know that Crystal Palace were involved a couple of weeks ago, of course, and they've had their own controversy with their new sponsor and all the stuff behind that. But that's something we'll leave, I think, for a little bit. It has a bit of BK8 around it, of course. If you're a Norwich fan, you know all about BK8, and of course that was scrapped. But as well, we'll just want to talk about, well, Jack, I can see there, I can actually see your background today. I can actually see your Norwich shirts, and you've evidently got a new light as well, because there's a big shadow behind you as well. And look at that. Well, if you're listening on Spotify, which we'll get onto in a second, he's just swinging the light around like it's a scarf over his head at the minute. But as well there, of course, there was a thing. Well, Jack, I saw you put a tweet up after we released the first episode, and you came up with a bit of an alternative title for the podcast, let's say.
Was it 4 dudes in need of interior design? Yeah. Come on, we need like a poster or something. If someone can donate posters to Norwich posters, none of them, no posters.
Please do.
On that. But yeah, if I can just have like Grant Holt's face here, so that I can blue tack it, then that would be beautiful. Are we going to address the elephant in the room that is that thing by your head, Freddie? Are we gonna...
Yeah, no, so basically, yeah, but again, if you're listening on Spotify, I'll have to just describe this to you. Of course, if you watch it on YouTube, you can see it. Basically, I have got an A4 bit of paper with the Norwich City badge on it that was drawn by my girlfriend, and I have to say, I was personally very impressed by the drawing. I thought it was very, very nice. But Jack joins the call just before we start recording. And he literally just goes to me, "What the fuck is on your wall, mate?" You know, he's laughing away now. But yeah, no, so I just, people told me that we needed some interior design, and it was just no one can have anything on their walls. Well, here's my answer to that. I've got something on my wall, and it is a lovely hand-drawn Norwich City badge. And of course, I'm very grateful that we did change it, of course, because I think I would have felt for her massively if she would have to have drawn that squiggly lion thing. Yeah, that little lion thing that was on the badge, of course. But yeah, no, so that's there. But Will and Henry, there's nothing there, boys. Like, come on,
No, there's not. No.
No, that's poor. That's poor.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I have let the side down, but I have got something that can make up for it. I don't know. Just hold on a second. I'll get.
Oh, we're getting excited. He's muted himself as well, so he's building up the suspension. Oh, he even turned his camera off. Well, we're really building up the suspension here. You don't get this on any other podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there he! Look at that!
Wow,
Look at that!
is unbelievable.
Haven't sorted this room out after I moved out recently, so can't put it anywhere at the minute. But yeah, that's my Norwich City ball. So I've got that. And I've got another shirt one. It's the old badge, but that'll do.
Yeah, that's lovely. That a nice little,
isn't it?
Thing is, though, right? I'm a Lego connoisseur. I opened this, and the actual blocks were fucking tiny. So, like, honestly, they were small enough to lose like under your fingernails. It was ridiculous how small they were to build this. But yeah, quite a nice ball, I think.
Yeah.
Message to the club shop: make your Lego bigger.
Exactly. Make your Lego bigger. If you're going to go with an alternative brand other than Lego, that's fine. Just make it bigger. And also, I saw a tweet today. Obviously, Freddie and Jack, you two are in your Norwich City shirts. There's now all replica kit is down to 20 quid at the club shop. So just got paid.
Well, this is why I've got this on, mate. I bought this on Thursday, delivered today. It was quick service. That was exactly that £5 for postage. That served the club well. I'm glad that I can keep putting money in the back pocket of Ben Napper, and I want to see a new signing with my £25. Albeit I'll be amazed if you can ever pull that off. But that £25, I'm fueling our transfer budget, and I'm very happy to be doing it. It's a shame because I want
to get that'll go all the way. That 20.
It's 25 quid more than Timu Pukki, so.
Yeah,
very true, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. Then as well, yeah. But that's the thing. So I've already got the the one that Jack was wearing last week. For those who watched it on YouTube, he had the red cabbage kit, the purple one. I've actually got that one as well. I wanted to get the away one because I like it the most, but they've only got it available in I think a small, extra small, and triple and quadruple XL. So unless I wanted one as a bed sheet, I wasn't going to be able. I wasn't going to be able to get one. But yeah, I've got the home shirt, which it's weird. I mean, obviously we spoke about what kits we love and hate last week, but this one is growing on me really because I didn't like it at all when it was first released. But now I'm wearing it and I look at it more, I think, it's actually all right. I don't mind it, but the new kit could be getting released soon for all we know. But that's something we can maybe delve into. What for you three really? What is the foundation of, apart from it being green or yellow, because that's the very easy answer to say. What do you think what should go into a Norwich City kit that you think can make it legendary?
I think you got to have a combination of everything, but I'm definitely leaning towards the more classic kind of side of it. I do love the I think it was our season when we had Buendia and Pukki in lockdown. I think it was that kit. I can't think of the year now, but definitely my favorite kit there, and it was a slick, nice, and very classic as well. So hopefully we get the same again soon.
I think as well, a kit can sometimes be ruined by the sponsor. So whatever sponsor we've got, obviously we've got Lotus now, which if it's just in the black writing can pretty much go with everything. But that's also something to bear in mind because yeah, we've had that before. Like I know I said I'm a box kit apologist, but like the box kit, you know, you take that sponsor away and that shirt looks awful. So
It still looks awful.
I'm a fan of it. What can I say?
Well, I have quite a controversial opinion because I quite like what we did. I think it must have been late 90s or early 2000s. Yellow shorts, all yellow.
Yeah, no, I do like that. Yeah, for sure. But it feels so rare.
Really alien, to be honest.
We need to go back to it. We need to try it for a season, I think.
Definitely.
It's giving, like, in my head, I'm getting like Darren Eady and Craig Bellingham. Bellingham? Yeah, Bellingham. Not Bellingham. I wish Bellingham.
Don't we
I
all?
might have got the eras completely wrong, but yes, all yellow is what we should go for.
Okay, yeah, no, that's certainly interesting because I'm thinking the only one I can sort of remember of would that be like the 1999 to 01 shirt, the one that had like the green sort of sash down the side of the badge. Was that sponsored by Coleman's at the time? If so, that was quite a nice kit actually. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. But
yeah, I just know that as the Scott Parker kit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. We could do a. Oh no, I was about to say that could be another inclusion in the Canaries at the Euros, but I think that he was a bit too young. He was a bit too young for that. But yeah, no, that's been because I only bring that up because Jack, I saw your one of I can't remember who you
Crouch,
did it on now.
Peter Crouch, who I had to do my research. I was like, oh, he's definitely played at the Euros. He's never played at the Euros.
No.
He didn't qualify in 2008 and then was seemingly too old in 2012 or was angry with, was it Roy in 2012?
I think it was.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously played at the World Cups, but never played at the Euros. Yeah, Crouchy, bless him. An absolutely unbelievable link up with Darren Huckabee back in the day.
No, well, it wouldn't have been hard when Huckabee's just going down the wing and crossing it in. I'm amazed he only scored 4 goals, I believe, from what I read on your thing now that I'm remembering it. But you think with the service he was getting, Huckabee just pasting it down the wing and whipping it into it makes you wonder I didn't score more. It's almost like a glitch in the system having Huckabee and Crouch. But of course he was very young, and then he went on to, I think it was Villa after that, or that might have been he was on loan from Villa at the time, and then I know obviously it went to Southampton, and then I'm pretty sure I think we lost 4-3 to Southampton at St Mary's. I'm pretty sure he scored one of the goals that effectively sent us down before that disaster at Fulham a couple of weeks later. But you know that's a story for a different day, really, talking about Peter Crouch and what happened in Premier League seasons of yesteryear. But as well, I know that sort of we were speaking before this as well, and the main idea we were trying to sort of look at today, or that could maybe even go on to be its own video if we don't cover it too much. But I know that we were very interested, and probably all the listeners that we got as well and the viewers, looking at sort of like a keep, loan, sell of the squad that we currently have now. Of course, we don't decide that. You all know that. That's decided by the higher ups who actually know what they're doing and have a well-respected opinion. But instantly, yeah, that could be something we go into. I mean, I don't have a list of the full squad up in front of me right now, and if I did, I'd be clicking backwards and forwards. You'd hear my little mouse pad going absolutely haywire. But straight away, just a few players that coming off the top of your head in terms of keep, loan, sell, or maybe is there any players that stick out to you straight away that you think Norwich should sell? Don't quote me on last week, please. Let's ignore that. We don't have to worry about that too much. But is there anyone else apart from the people that we said last week that in your head you think, yeah, I think your time in the yellow and green shirt is up and we should look to move you on?
I think Grant Hanley for me is one of them. I feel we've seen his best use at Norwich. Although I kind of feel over a 5-6 year period, I think it's been quite hot and cold. We've seen the good of Hanley, we've seen the bad of Hanley. I think it was the promotion season where I was Hanley and Gibson at the back together, and they were absolutely suits, and they were so good together. And then obviously you got some of the Premier League campaigns which were just absolutely miserable to watch. And I think really for me with the Hanley, I think it's between Hanley and Duffy who I would get rid of, because you've got a real good crop of players coming through in that position. And I think having Hanley and Duffy, and they kind of like do the same thing, if you will. I think you need more kind of qualities for that like role, if you know what I mean. And I feel Shane Duffy is very, very commanding of his box, and I probably like lead to keep him. But with Grant Hanley, I just feel I think he's just been here too long. I think we just need to abort shit really. But who knows? Front might see it differently. But with all the news and health coming through, I think Hanley will probably be my number one priority.
Okay, nice. This very interesting. But yeah, well, Henry, what about yourself? I know that you said Adam Eder should be the one of which you were saying last week. Is there anyone else who sticks out to you in that?
Yeah, so I still stand by Eder. I think if we get a good offer for him, especially from someone like Celtic, then it'll be a no-brainer, really. I will just apologise if you can hear thunder in my background. It is absolutely pissing it down here. So, so I apologise.
Yet, mate.
Yeah. Another one probably who I think we should sell is Ono Hernandez. I think, to be honest, he's years past his best. You know, he's not been great, arguably, since the first promotion season under Daniel Farker. And I think he's a bit of a one-trick pony. To be honest, I think he's a fullback's wet dream. Like, you know what he's going to do. He's going to bomb down the wing and then always look to cut it back. And it never works. You know, the fact that United was the last game at home where he scored shows you that his play style just doesn't work.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, but even the last game he scored in was when we beat Coventry 4-2. And that was over a year ago now. It's, yeah, like when you have, as you say, an attacking player who hasn't scored in, over a year, hasn't scored at home in, that's 4 years almost. I mean, it is awful, isn't it? That's just absolutely horrendous. But yeah, well, the main thing I noticed about him is I was watching, for some reason, I got really caught up in watching old highlights of that promotion season and the second one as well. He loves to just shoot when there's about 6 players in the way. He loves it. Honestly, if you watch almost any game of those highlights, I guarantee at least once there will be a thing of Ono Hernandez, ball on the edge of the box, cuts it to the middle, and he'll have about 4 players in front of him, and he'll just think, no bother, that'll go through every single one of it, and he just unleashes a shot. It does annoy me, but yeah, he could really be a player. Of course, he is very much loved by the fans. He is a very likable person and character. And of course, he loves the club as well. There's no doubt about that. But of course, that can't really, if you're going to be very sort of cynical on it, that can't be the reason a player is given contracts and everything just because they really enjoy their time there. You know, I would like to think that we're looking at integrating other players. Of course, we spoke about Abu Kamara a bit last week, who really, given the season he had with Portsmouth, should be straight in. Borja Sainz has been absolutely fantastic as well. I would like to think that he is a player the club would maybe try and build a team around, especially in that attacking sense. Of course, another brilliant player. And then, you know, even if Jonathan Rowe does stay, or rather than if he does leave, of course, there hasn't been too much interest about that as well. But again, just you can integrate him in those wide areas, maybe even play him up front if Sargent is crocked at any time. I know that he has now gone to the Copa America, so obviously the injury that he was carrying shouldn't be too serious, but that could all change. But as well, finally, Jack, I'll come on to you, because you were the one asking this and you never gave an answer. But so to flip your own question on you from last week, who is the one player that you would like to see sold?
It's a good question. I mean, you could look at it from a money-making perspective, which is who would, garner us the biggest transfer fee and wouldn't be the biggest loss. I think Sarah would go for a decent fee, but would be, irreplaceable. It's very controversial, but probably Johnny Rowe. We could probably get a decent fee for him. And then, like you said, Kamara slots in there. So that, I mean, he's young, he's English, he's quick. I even remember I was at QPR away for the League Cup game in August, when I think he'd scored the last minute winner, and I think that was either his second or third goal in a row. And I was leaving Loftus Road, even like 3 games into the season, thinking, what is this kid's transfer value? Because it will now skyrocket, even now. And obviously went on to have a really good season, obviously blighted by injury. But, to get a decent transfer fee for a homegrown player, I think that's probably one that, we should really try and haggle the price for. Knowing us, we'll probably sell him to Plymouth for £1 million. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned about getting rid of Hanley, getting rid of Hernandez, some Duffy, even like fringe players. George Long, for instance, if we sold him, I wouldn't be too upset. But the reality is, who is going to want these players? They are lower championship quality with higher championship wages. If you're in the top of League One, you're probably not going to be able to afford these players. And if you're in the championship, you're probably not going to want them, full stop. It's a question mark of, it's all very well, oh, let's sell this person. There needs to be someone in order to buy them. And obviously, we ideally want a profit. We did buy Grant Hanley for around £3 or £4 million in a panic deal after we got thrashed by, was it Birmingham or Millwall, that we got thrashed? And
pretty sure it was Millwall, because we lost 4-0,
didn't we?
Yeah.
Losing to Millwall is the very reason why Grant Hanley is here, which is bananas. But yeah, like we could theoretically release these players. There's also then an argument over whether there is a place for Ashley Barnes under the stewardship of a young manager who loves playing progressive passing football with a lot of young players. Having Ashley Barnes in that team, I don't know, it just feels a little bit contradictory. A lot of people always said, but he's a great voice in the dressing room. That's not a reason to employ a footballer who physically plays football. Like, make him a coach, or hire him as the water boy, but don't stick him in attacking midfield behind Josh Sargent. I don't know. We've got lots of players who on paper are really good, but are probably really expensive for what they do. So it's a bit of a pickle, really.
I mean,
following up your point about Rowe, though, I think he's the most risk-free transfer we could do this summer. You compare his spell out injured to Josh Sargent's spell out injured, and we fell to pieces when we didn't have that focal point up front. Whereas even with Rowe out injured to the latter stages of last season, we still managed to get ourselves into the top 6. So if we can sell him for a good fee, at least 10, 15 million pounds, and then reinvest that money, I think that's a no-brainer, to be honest with you. I think that would be a really sensible bit of business. Whereas if we lose Sarah, Sargent, or maybe even Angus Gunn, we could... That could have a massive effect on the team. Whereas I think Rowe, we could just about survive with.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to jump in, Freddie, but I also want to kind of talk about Sargent as well, because you can probably not hear my thunder as well. Yeah, I think the thing about Sargent is, for me anyway, in the last week I've been quite, I've been tossing and turning whether I think I would keep him or actually sell him, because it feels like this injury situation is getting really, really complex, and it's keep coming up. And I'm worried if he's actually going to play like quite a lot of games for us next season. Of course, we would want Of course, we want him to play like loads of games, and we need him to. But I'm just but if someone comes in and offers me £20 million, I think right now I might think about taking it, because I think the injuries are really bothering me, and I don't know if he would get through like a whole season again. And I know he's so important to our team, so this is like why I'm so interested in like your guys' thoughts on this as well, because I think he's so important to our team. Yet this injury record is quite concerning me, like at the minute. So maybe do we just cash in now and get a good price? I mean, 20 million sounds really good to me right now. But what do you guys kind of think about that?
I mean, I think we should keep him, but I think it's clear that we do need another striker there, because even when he came back from injury, he did look sort of like that yard shorter of pace, and he didn't look on it like he did earlier on in the season. So I definitely think we still need another striker to support him. But yeah, I'd keep him. And sort of touching on what Jack was saying as well, one of the reasons why I keep him is because of that relationship with Ashley Barnes. I think if Barnes has a future under Torrup, it needs to be in the number 10 supporting Josh Sargent, because that's where Norwich were most effective this year. If we sell Sargent with the sole purpose of having Barnes up front, that would not work. Every time he's played as the lone striker, I thought he's looked dreadful in that position, to be honest with you. So the fact that we've got that established relationship there, which we know works, I think could be crucial. So I'll keep both of those players, but I would look to try and reinvest in a decent striker, one who is more than capable of scoring goals at Championship level on a regular basis.
Yeah, I completely echo those thoughts of Henry there. We saw that relationship. Of course, it was absolutely fantastic when they were playing with each other. They seemed to just feed off of each other really well. And it did bring the best out of Sargent, really. I guess Barnes was there just to sort of just do what Ashley Barnes has always done his whole career, just be a nuisance and just, put off opposition defenders and just be that sort of player to just annoy opposition centre-halves, get in their heads, and then, even creating room for Sargent to maybe just sort of drift wider, get in behind the defenders, play off the shoulder almost and wait for those through balls from any of the players just behind him. But you said there, Jack, earlier about sort of who wants those players on those high wages, just to sort of reel onto that. Stoke City seem interested, bringing in Sam McCallum and Ben Gibson. So maybe there's something we could build there in terms of the older players. So maybe Ashley Barnes will be playing in a red and white shirt if that does come to it. But
Ashley Barnes at Stoke, how has that never happened?
Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it?
That's a match made in heaven.
No, yeah, really, really is. But yeah, I think it is an interesting one because, of course, as Will was saying, if Sargent was to go now, of course, he's just regardless of the injuries, had a fantastic season. Do you maybe look to cash in on that and use it on another striker? But then again, 20 million just on one player. I mean, this the thing. Really, see those sort of players around those price points, are they really going to want to drop down into the Championship? Because players of those price points are realistically going to be playing at the highest levels in their domestic leagues. There's no doubt about that. But also as well, the big thing is, well, how much truly are they valued at? Of course, the club will ultimately be the ones who are going to decide that, and they will either settle or they will set an exact amount of money that they want. Of course, we will not know that unless bids are coming in and it is revealed how much that's being paid. Of course, there was one bid recently that was really, well, in my opinion, I thought it was ridiculous. The bid from Trabzonspor. The 3.5 million for Nunez when we paid 3.9 million for. I mean, that is comical, absolutely comical that they dare try and put in a bid like that for Nunez. And I'm extremely glad that is hopefully, well, at the moment in time, that's the last I've heard of it for the couple of days. But no, that's just ridiculous. I would like to think we're a bit more ambitious than that, and we have hopefully learned from prior mistakes. Of course, Jack, you alluded to the sale of Ballymumba for just £1 million to Plymouth, which at the time, yeah, it annoyed me then, and it still annoys me now. But with how sort of he didn't do as well with Plymouth, that made it a little bit better. But I wouldn't say we got the last laugh. There's still probably a player in there who can go on to be very good. But just going all the way back to the original thing of in terms of like Sargent and everything, and I don't really, and then Barnes as well. I think those players really they should be being looked to kept because they can be important. Any player can have a great season or they can have a bad season. You never know what you're going to get with them. So it's just really maybe for peace of mind, you should keep those players that were in there almost every week and obviously were integral parts to the system. Barnes was obviously a very big part. If he was going to be being played almost as a number 10 role, there was going to be a big reason behind that because obviously it must have worked tactically, or maybe they just liked having that character just to be there. And of course, as you said, a very good voice in the dressing room. But as you've already said, that's not a really big reason to keep a player. But and as well as a terms of an example for younger ones, of course, I alluded last week about Duffy crashing his car. Well, Ashley Barnes got banned from a race course in Brighton, I'm pretty sure, the horse racing, because he got a little bit too rowdy. So, but then that's Ashley Barnes, isn't it? That comes as no real surprise. But yeah, again, well, going back all the way to sort of the original thing of keep loaning and selling, of course, we've already really alluded to players we want to keep. Is there anyone who, well, I know, Will, straight away, you've probably got about 10, 15 youth players you can think of that you would like loaned out. But is there anyone really, for all three of you, again, specifically you think would really benefit of a year honing their craft in a lower league, really building up, and then maybe they could, who knows, maybe even halfway through a season if injuries are bad, or in the next season? Of course, I'm very much looking forward to a lot of things in the future rather than focusing on the now and the current. But is there anyone you look at in the squad and think you need to just give it a year on loan, lower league, see how well you do, and for all we know, you could be brilliant, and then you bring back maybe come January or something, and then they can just get in the team?
I think Callum Fisher's probably my kind of answer for that. Although I've been thinking, because obviously Hofrop likes to play quite a kind of like technically kind of like branded game of football, and I don't know if Stacey, obviously he's a good championship fullback, very very solid and very very consistent, but I feel like I'm contradicting myself already, because I think Fisher definitely needs some minutes on loan. He needs to play games this year without shadow of a doubt, because he's obviously come in, played a few games and been on fringes all year, but he needs to start playing games. And I think obviously he's very highly rated. I mean, he played for England, I think, last week, so that just kind of like showcases his quality. But I don't know how Hofrop's going to kind of see that situation, but because I think Fisher can really kick on at Norwich, and I think it's a good manager for Fisher as well. But I just think he needs minutes, and it's so important that they find the right team for him as well, because I think there's quite a few youngsters, I think, in the band of Aboa, Welsh, and Fisher, and when they kind of need to go on loan, but I cannot stress this enough. Sorry, they must go to a club which has got really good foundations and matches our style of play, because the amount of loan moves I see, and I'm just like, what? It's like, a great example actually was Tom Dixon-Peters, I think, like 3 years ago, and he goes to Gillingham, and Gillingham, I think they had like Neil Harris at the time, and Neil Harris, and the style of football there compared to what he's used to, it just didn't work to him whatsoever, and he just got lost. So it's so important, like, to get the right club, and I think Fisher's a good shout, definitely for me, but I can't really think of too much first team kind of seniors that I would want to loan out, but maybe you guys can kind of help me out there.
Yeah, sorry, you go.
Yeah, I just think the main one all depends really on the outcome of the contract renewal for Ken Aboa. I think he's the main one who needs to go out on loan, to be honest with you. What he did for the youth team this season was nothing short of brilliant. And is he ready to be chucked into first team championship football? I'm not sure, but I think if he experiences professional football for a team in either League One or League Two, probably League One, probably the high end of League One, someone like Bolton, say, for example, and does well, like Abu Kamara did this season, he can come back a tailor-made championship striker. So I think for him, if he signs the contract, then it's crucial that he goes out on loan this season, because I think he'll have a brilliant future at Norwich City if he can get those professional minutes under his belt.
Agreed. Yeah, I think that probably will be the club's plan from anyway. I think so. Definitely, I think Ken is a really, really good shout. Maybe even like Dan Barden probably needs to go back out on loan as well. But I don't know if they kind of see him as like a third choice keeper. So that's kind of like another one there. But yeah, I think it's going to be many like young players probably going out on loan.
Yeah, I think there's a name that we're all sort of forgetting. Number 8, Liam Gibbs. I think I don't know where his best position is. Is he a striker? Is he a centre mid?
Certainly
Is
not.
he in goal? We don't probably need a middle keeper. But I think, yeah, to be given the number 8 shirt last season, I thought that he was really going to crack on, really, find his best position and continue on the form that he had the season before. In the end, he just had really quite a mixed off season and just looked quite lost. I don't know if this conspiracy of Wagner not liking young players is actually true. I'm sure Will can ratify that. But I just think, again, one player who could go off to a League One team and come back as a little Dewsbury Hall. Someone who's just, a little bit stronger and a little bit more kind of certain on where he's going to play. Because I think there is, a place for him in the squad. But I think every time he came on last season, it was all just, it felt a bit comical. It felt a bit kind of like there wasn't really a plan. And there's clearly, a quality player in there. We sure know how to develop kids from our academy. But yeah, no, I think it's difficult because obviously the new man, Hoff, whatever his name is, he will surely like young players, and there could be an opportunity where it could be exactly the opposite, and Gibbs could start every match and could become a breakout star. But personally, I just think he needs a season away just to find his feet, and hopefully he can come back and be a prime SEN or something.
I also think that the environment is key for someone like Liam Gibbs. I think he's the only player who, when Dean Smith was here, he probably got the best out of and improved. I think when he was playing under Dean Smith, we all looked at him and went, hold on, this guy could actually be a real player. And then under David Wagner, he's looked miles off it. He's gone missing. So I think if he can get a relationship sort of similar to what he had with Dean Smith when he was here at either a high-end championship, high-end League One, or even low-end championship team, which I think he's good enough for, then he can flourish. So, I think Liam Gibbs out on loan is a really good shout.
Yeah, no, I back it. And, I'm going to have to reveal a little something about Liam Gibbs. May or may not last season have got Gibbs 46 on the back of my kit, but
Wow.
I was going to get Nunez, but the club shop had ran out of the letter N. So I thought, oh God, who's the first player that pops my head? And I thought, oh, Gibbs. Oh, they got to have that. Yeah, and then that was when we played Birmingham in the League Cup. Sorensen scored an absolute peach of a goal, and Liam Gibbs in that game, as you just said there, Henry, I thought was really good. And I think that that start of 2 seasons ago under Dean Smith, as you said, he did look a very good player. He looked tidy. He looked very confident on the ball for someone of his age. And then I think what really, for me, that did him was when we went and played Sunderland away when we won 1-0 and he got injured in the game and that put him out for a few months. I think that really halted his progress. And then obviously Nunez and Sarah ended up being as good as they are now, and they were getting better. And Kieran Dowell found form sort of in the when David Wagner came in, when Gibbs was starting to come back. So it limited his game time. So really, we probably are going to see that next season with the midfielders we currently have. So I think, again, as you've said there, a brilliant shout to send Liam Gibbs out on loan. For me personally, the name I'm sort of thinking of after watching Will's youth video, I think I don't, maybe it's sort of a lot of a lower league, but Errol Mundle-Smith straight away is popping in my head after the goal scoring capabilities that he showed. I know in Will's video he said he only joined, what was it, halfway through the season on trial from Croydon or something like that.
So he was a trialist for the start of the season, then he just absolutely flew. I think Errol needs a few more kind of games with the 21s first. I think although he scored goals, I think like performance wise, he's been a bit inconsistent at times. So I'm definitely maybe in the next year or so, I think that could be a case. But I think he just needs to get some more consistency in his kind of belt, because he's scoring goals. He just needs to kind of like improve a bit more technically and just overall really. But very, very good striker.
Yeah, definitely. Right, well, we've covered all the serious stuff. So after last week and the content it provided, Jack is rubbing his hands together. He knows what's coming. And if you did listen or watch last week's podcast, of course, well, I keep saying if you're listening, and I'm having to describe what's going on to you, a bit like I'm Chris Gorham, but effectively, we are now on Spotify. We have made a proper account, and all of the podcasts will be going on there as well as on YouTube, where if you're watching it now, and you can see all four of our beautiful faces on the MyFootballWriter channel. But of course, we are on Spotify as well. I'll leave a link to that in the video description, and as well, I'll be putting links out of the overall Spotify channel and the episode links if we do put up clips from Twitter, if you see any of them over the next few days after this is uploaded. But yeah, that's really good for us. Hopefully we see quite a few of you. I've already seen quite a few people have downloaded and listened as well. We thank you as well for the growth that we've had on the channel as well. We're really appreciative of that and the views that you're giving. But anyway, we'll give a quick clap to the fans as Jack is there, and there you go. But yeah, as I've said, we covered the serious stuff for now. Right, Jack, quick fire questions. I'm sure you've got a lot more lined up that none of us have seen. Let's be having you, as Delia would say.
Yeah. So again, let's do it in this order. Freddie, Will, Henry. Real quick. Would you like the season to play out as it is, or we lose twice to Ipswich, but go up at their expense?
Well, where on earth are we going to be playing Ipswich twice? You see, that's my big question back to you. Unless we play them in the FA Cup and the League Cup.
Oh, sorry, the season just gone. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. My bad. But a great question. I'd have rather it gone as it had, because there was some good times in there.
Too much information. Quick fire hot takes. Will.
Yeah, agreed.
Henry.
Agreed. I think, yeah.
Prime Madison or Prime Buendia?
Prime Buendia.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, Prime Buendia.
Madison's the better player, but for Norwich, Prime Buendia.
I'm going to do the opposite that I said last week. What is the best home atmosphere that you've experienced as an away fan?
Oh, that's an absolute corker. Because I think I've not been on many away games. Oh my God. I'll go Sheffield Wednesday when we lost 5-1 on the final day of the season in the kit you're wearing. They were electric in that game.
I think for me, Leeds just gone. They were superb that night.
Well, my answer is the same as last week. The worst home atmosphere was Huddersfield, and the best home atmosphere was also Huddersfield the season they went up under David Wagner. They played us, I think it was a midweek game, played us off the park, won I think it was 2 or 3-1.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, their fans were amazing, because to be honest, they were the best team we played that season. I think they knew that they were going to get Premier League football. So, yeah, Huddersfield for me.
Yeah. Who was the one Norwich youth product you thought would become the second coming of Christ?
Bilal Kamal, but I think he was a left back, and I watched him in the Youth Cup and thought he was excellent.
Oh, goodness me.
Sorry, Will, this is incredibly...
mate, you're putting under the bus here. Jamal Loza.
It's a great shout.
Josh Murphy.
Lower Barkley or Snake Pit?
Lower Barkley.
Yep, Lower Barkley.
Lower Barkley.
The snake pit's going to come after you. Lambert's double promotion in 09-11 or Farker's promotion in 18-19?
Lambert's double promotion.
Farkers.
Barkers, yeah.
Norfolk's best seaside town.
East Runton.
I'm going to go Hunstanton.
Great Yarmouth, just because I visit there the most. So I'm sure if Steve is listening, he'll be pleased. But yeah, have to go with
You're all
Yarmouth.
wrong.
Yeah.
You're all wrong. The answer is C. Pauling.
That's A.
And
Pauling.
final question: is it coming home?
No.
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 Oh, absolutely brilliant! No, that's fantastic. There you go. What, that was the last one, was it? Was it none else up your sleeve?
No, not for this week anyway.
Oh, right. Well, there you have it. The quickfire questions back. Hopefully, well, in my eyes, they were a bit less mental than last week's. Let's put it that way. Of course, if you didn't know that, you can go back and watch that on YouTube, listen to it on Spotify, just like this one. But just to end this more, it's a bit of a somber note, but I feel like it really does need to be addressed. Of course, the recent passing of a Norwich City icon. There's no real other way of putting it, in Terry Alcock, a member of the 1959 Cup run when Norwich got to the semi-finals for the first ever time and only one of 2 times they've ever done it. The club's second top all-time goal scorer, an absolute icon. And of course, there'll be so many great stories about him and very favourable memories from those who were lucky enough to have seen him play all those years ago and played for the club for, I believe, well over a decade. So, of course, a Norwich City legend. And as well, of course, today, the day of recording this, the young goalkeeper, the Montenegrin international Matej Sarkic, was a goalkeeper for Millwall, played against us when I think it may have even been both games this season. He unfortunately passed away at a young age of 26. A real shame. And yeah, to end that on a bit of a somber note, but really do wish both of their respective families all the best. And anyway, so there you have it. That was the second episode of the MFW podcast, and really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, leave us a nice review on Spotify or on YouTube. Do whatever you feel. If you want to like the video or like the podcast or whatever, do whatever you feel is best. I'm not gonna push you into doing anything, but please just be nice. And that's all we can. That's what I can ask for. But of course, I don't decide that all for you. But anyway, thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you this time next week. Hopefully, we'll have some more stuff to talk about. England, of course, play at the time of recording tomorrow in their first game. And as Jack is doing, I'm even going to do it myself, a little Sargent salute to say goodbye to everyone. We'll be seeing you, and or even we'll be blessing your ears with this. Don't check your wrist. Just give me a little minute. but yeah, hopefully, if you're listening to us or you're watching us, we'll see you this time next week. It's goodbye for now. We'll see you for the next one.